Hello friends and welcome to CJoy Yoga. I'm Crystal Joy Johnson, and where I come from, it was just Thanksgiving weekend, and I don't know about you, but I overate. Even so, it was healthy, but I still ate a little too much, and I ate some things I don't normally eat, which gives me constipation. Add to that travel, which gives me constipation. So if you're anything like me, and many people in the classes the past few days have been feeling the same way, maybe a little bloated, gassy, constipated, just lethargic, any of those feelings that we get when we kind of overeat or we don't really move very much because we're sitting around just hanging out with friends or family, this is for your healthy digestion, hopefully helping elimination, right, and getting toxins out of the system. You may or may not want blocks, but if you're a block kind of a person, go ahead and have 2 blocks standing by, and then lie down on your back, and we'll start on our backs today. 2 options for the legs. You can have your feet on the ground with your knees bent, feet a little wide, and the knees lean in, right? Otherwise, you can extend those legs all the way out. Go ahead and try them both on for size and find out the one that feels the best in your back today. Again, especially if you've been traveling or sleeping on strange beds, any of that kind of stuff, right? It might feel a little nicer to have the legs bent. The low back has a little more length in it. So just go ahead and find out which one works. Shoulder blades down the back, arms out, palms up. Close the eyes. And just go ahead and scan through the body. Right? I love to start at the crown of the head and work all the way down to the tips of the toes and just check in with my muscular body, ensuring that each of my muscles is soft. And then once you feel like you've softened your muscular body, go ahead and check into that breath. And since we're working in the abdominal region today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our hands back onto our belly. So keep the elbows where they are and just go ahead and turn the palms down onto the belly. And just begin to tune into that natural rising and falling of your abdomen on the breath. Right? So you're not trying to make the breath happen. You're just allowing the belly to move with the breath. See if maybe you can't lengthen that breath out a little bit. And again, be careful you're not giving it too much effort. Try to let it happen rather than making it happen. And then with your next inhale, you can open those eyes. We're going to go ahead and just tee the arms out from here and let the knees go wide. Sorry, some of my feet had legs extended. Feet on the ground, knees bent, feet as wide as your mat, knees out. If you had your knees bent, you're just separating the knees. Try that again. Take an inhale, and with an exhale, go ahead and let the legs come on over to the right. And inhale those knees up. Exhale the knees over to the left. Inhale, knees up. And as the knees head to the right, your head might turn to the left on this one. Inhale to neutral. And as the legs go to the left, you may turn your head to the right. Back to neutral. And let's do that one more time. Head over to the right with the legs, head to the left, and then pause. Now, if you want to put that right foot on the outer left thigh, that's optional. It might feel like it gives you a little bit of an extra stretch in that side abdominal kind of area, right? And so this is a little bit digestion, but this one for me is more just to try to get into that travel body. If you traveled at all, it might feel nice to get into that low back and the hips a little bit. Bring the right foot down, inhale the knees back up, exhale the knees to the left, turn the head to the right. This might be your position. You may choose to put your left foot on your right outer knee/thigh. And then again, let that left leg weight the right leg in and just notice where you're feeling this. You can leave the foot down if it doesn't feel comfortable. Otherwise, if it's getting you a little extra length, go ahead and take another breath. Inhale. And exhale. Left foot coming down to the ground. Inhaling the knees back up. Walk the feet back into hip distance. and bring the right leg towards the chest. You're going to interlace your hands either behind the thigh or in front of the shin. And you can always use a strap or something if it's hard to interlace for any reason in your particular body. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to let the knee come away from the body just a little bit. I still have my interlace, right? And then I'm going to exhale, I'm going to pull the knee in, and I'm going to let my low back round into the earth. And inhale, let the knee move away from the body, my arms straighten. And exhale, go ahead and bring that leg in. So just starting with a really light massage for your abdominals. Inhale one more time, knee away. And exhale, bringing that in. Pause and hug that knee in for an inhale. And with the exhale, put the right foot on the ground. Bring the left leg in, interlacing behind the thigh or in front of the shin. And again, we're going to go to that same pulsing movement. So inhale the knee away from the body. And then exhale, hug the leg in. Soften your shoulders. Inhale the knee away from the body. And exhale, hug the knee in. Soften the jaw and the tongue. Inhale the knee away. And this time, exhale. When you hug it in, you're going to hold it in. You'll hold it there for one more inhale. And with the exhale, we're going to bring that left leg down to the ground. We're going to turn on our abdominals a little bit just to bring a little blood to that area. So you're going to go in here, you're going to extend your leg, left leg, all the way out. Bring the right leg in and interlace around the thigh or in front of the shin. Activate the left leg like you're pushing into an imaginary wall. Now, pull the low belly down just a little bit. Take an inhale and with an exhale, push your low floating ribs down to lift the body up. You have a couple of options. You can just stay with the interlace, hugging the knee in. You can bring the hands behind and support the head and let the head hang in the hammock if the neck is feeling tight. You can reach the arms beyond, right? Shoulder blades down the back. And I'm not so much reaching up as I'm reaching straight forward and lifting, pushing my low floating ribs down. And if it's okay with your body, you might hover that left leg just a little bit. Now really try to move that abdominal area down. I don't often say it, but even flattening the low back into the earth if that works for you. Getting a little fresh fluid and blood into the front of those abdominals. Inhale and exhale. Roll the body down. Bring the left leg in to meet the right. Go ahead and give them a little hug. You can interlace behind the thigh or the shin or just grab. And maybe rock a little bit from right to left. Hello, Dooley. That's Dooley, everybody. He's the boy. And then come back to neutral. Extend the right leg all the way out, keeping the left leg in. You can start with your interlace, right? Go ahead and push the low belly down just a little bit, bringing it towards the spine. Inhale. Exhale, push the low floating ribs down to lift the upper body up a little bit, right? Shoulder blades down the back. And the same three options are on the table, right? So go ahead and take the one that's right for you here. And maybe you push that low belly down so much that the right heel lifts about an inch, and really keep that abdominal area moving down. If it's bloating up to the sky, you might put the leg down and find the muscles working down instead of up. It's working them the wrong way. Take one more inhale and exhale. Lay the body down. Bring the right knee in to match the left knee. Put your hands on your kneecaps. Circle your knees together. And then go ahead and move the opposite direction. And I'm bringing those knees back to the chest. Sorry, Dooley's on his cat scratcher. Welcome to my world. So we're going to go into side abdominals a little bit. And this next pose is called wind relieving pose. So you can imagine one of the things that it does to the gastrointestinal tract, right? Actually, I'm live. Before we go there, let's do one more thing. Let's stretch the backs of the legs. You're going to interlace your hands behind your right thigh and start to push the right heel up to the sky, right? And as you push that heel up, lengthening the back of the leg, remember you can lengthen your spine by pushing the thigh into the hands pulling back into the thigh. And get nice and long here. Sorry, he's making me giggle. He's a pain in my tuchus, but I love him. And take one more breath, inhale. And then bend that right knee, put the right foot down on the ground, bringing the left leg in, interlacing behind the left thigh. And then push that left heel up to the sky. And as you push that inner heel up and lengthen the back of the leg,
You're going to push your thigh into your hands pull back into the thigh, lengthen that spine, and breathe into the length of the back of the left leg. Inhale and exhale. Bring that foot down on the ground. Now we're going to go into that other move. Now if you have a block, you're going to take that block and you're going to bring it in between the legs. If you don't, I want you to imagine that a block is in between your thighs, right? And there's two things I want you to do, right? In the beginning, when you're just learning to work with the musculature, if you're newer to your body or to yoga, right? You're just going to move in a little bit onto that block. And that might be exactly where you live and what your body understands at this point. For my friends who've been doing this a little longer, can you pull that block down to your pubic bone, right? So I'm literally trying to pull the block down and engage my inner groin. I'm going to bring my arms by my side just to get my legs in a tabletop. And then from there, with that low belly activated, I'm going to bring my knees up until they're above my hips, my heels up until they're directly out from my knees. It's called tabletop, and this is our new neutral. We'll tee the arms out with the palms up, right? And this is where we'll come back to home. Go ahead and move into that block and pull the block to the pubic bone. Let the legs head over to the right. Maybe turn the head to the left. And inhale, left side waist is going to bring you back up. And exhale, knees move over to the left. Again, I'm pulling the block to the pubic bone, turning my head to the right, and just squeeze the block if that doesn't make sense. Inhale, right side waist is going to bring me up. And knees to the right, looking to the left, pinning the left shoulder down. And again, this is called wind relieving pose. Inhale, go ahead and come back up. So, hey, if you toot a little bit, wonderful. Exhale, knees over to the left. Go ahead and turn the head to the right. Move the block to the pubic bone. And right side waist is going to bring you back up. Pause. Now you might stay right here. You might start to lengthen and straighten the legs, pushing those inner heels into an imaginary ceiling, yeah? And if that feels like too much, by the way, you can bend the knees if you have tight hamstrings. That's totally acceptable, but try to have the heels above the hips so the core is not so turned on right now. And from there, take an inhale with an exhale. Let the legs head over to the right, look to the left, pin the left shoulder down. And again, try to move the block to the pubic bone. And inhale, back up. If it's an imaginary block, you can still work with that, friends. Exhale, legs over to the left, look to the right, pin the right shoulder down, and hug the block up to the pubic bone. And right side waist, inhales you up. One more time on each side. And exhale over to the right, look to the left, pin the left shoulder down. Left side waist engages, inhale. Last one. Legs over to the left, look to the right, pin the right shoulder down. And inhale, right side waist returns. If you have a block, you're going to remove the block. And then we're all going to hug those knees in one more time. And maybe rock just a little bit from right to left if that feels nice. You can always stay in stillness. And from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to come on up. So you're going to grab the backs of the knees and you're going to rock up and down on your spine. That said, if that's too much, roll over to the fetal position and come up that way. Otherwise, go ahead and give yourself a little rock and come on up. And put your buttocks in the middle of your mat. We're going to go into a little bit of core work again. Again, just bringing some fresh fluid and blood to that area and a little bit of energy and awareness, right? So with the feet on the ground, the first thing I want to do is find my long spine. So we're going to bring our fingertips behind us and see if we can't get a little longer through our spinal column, yeah? Shoulder heads back, a nice open chest. Now try to maintain that even as you bring the hands forward to the backs of the legs. And the main thing we want to do as we move into this pose is to not lose the spinal column, right? So that determines how far in you go. Now flex your feet, push through the ball mounds of the big toes, and see if you can't feel that idea of that block being pulled down to the pubic bone. It gives you a little extra boost in your pelvic floor and your low abdominals, right? And then go ahead and see if you can find your balance point. And you can start to lift those legs up. But don't lift them so high you lose your low back. And if the knees go wide, go down a little bit and push more through the ball mounds of the toes. The knees should not be wider than hip distance for this entire exercise. And you might reach your arms forward like we just did, right? Shoulder blades down the back. And I'm going to try and see if I can lift my chest even a little higher. Inhale. And then exhale, right shin in front of left. Get really, really, really tall. Inhale. And then exhale, let's go ahead and fold over top of the legs. And soften down in. Inhale here.
You can always support your knee if you have knee joint pain, or let one leg extend out to the side. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna keep that right buttocks bone down on the ground, but we're gonna walk over towards our left knee. Slide the belly towards the left inner groin, and then reach that right arm forward and away, and you can play with it. You might lift it up off the ground, you might bring it midway down to the ground. Play with where you feel the most length coming into your lower right side back. Take one more breath, inhale, and bring that hand down if it was up. Walk yourself to the middle. Inhale, come back up. Put your feet on the ground, knees bent, grab the backs of the knees. Pull against the thighs, shoulder blades down the back. Flex the feet and push through the ball mounds of the big toes, and see if you can't find that inner leg line hugging all the way up to the pubic bone. Find your balance point, right? Some of my friends, you're just gonna stay right here. Some of my friends, you might release. We're gonna lay it out. You can always leave your hands on your thighs for that, right? Push through the ball mounds of the toes. You're not coming all the way to the earth, so don't go too far down. Try to lay it out as far as you possibly can. Pull the belly down, pull the belly down, pull the belly down, and inhale, bring it back up. And left leg in front of right, and get really tall, and exhale over. Pull that low belly in a little bit so you have support system here. Soften for a breath. Inhale, and exhale. Walk over towards your right knee. Using your right fingertips, pressure them down in the ground. Pressure them, push them down to the ground and steer your belly towards your right groin. And reach that left arm forward and away. And again, you can lift it up or midway or down on the ground, whatever gives you the most length in your lower left back side body, right? And that's different for everybody. Sink that left buttocks bone down in opposition, inhale. And bring the hand down, walk back to the center of your mat. Inhale, come all the way up. And we're gonna come to hands and knees. You can swish the legs around, or you can come right over top of those shins and bring those legs back. My hips are over my knees. My heels, my knees are both hip distance, right? And I've got my fingers spread wide, pressing into my hands with my wrists underneath my shoulders. And we're going into cat-cow. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back, reaching the chest forward into cow. And exhale, pull the belly up and round that spine up into cat. And as if on cue, inhale, reach the chest forward into cow. I was gone for a couple of days, so they were very needy today. Exhale, go ahead and round up to the sky. Let's do one more of those, friends. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back. And exhale, rounding up towards the sky. And coming back to our neutral, we're coming in a downward dog. Hands are coming about 2 inches in front of your shoulders. Find that beautiful upper back here, because it just gets harder bearing weight. Curl the toes under and start to reach those hips up and back, right? Take a moment and bend the knees and see if you can reach those buttocks bones further up and back. Try to stabilize your hips and your spine, and maybe push the right heel down and then bend the right knee. Maybe pushing the left heel down and bending the left knee. And if that feels good, go ahead and do that again. So trying to isolate it in the legs a little bit by keeping the rest of the body still. When the left heel lifts, push both heels back towards the earth, right? Inner heels reaching back. Does not mean your legs have got to be straight. Find out what works best in your body. Take one more breath, so we're lengthening all the way through the back body, but also hopefully you're feeling a lot of length coming through your abdominal region. Exhale, walk your hands back to your feet. Bending the knees, grabbing onto elbow points. Softening the neck and the shoulders, inhale. And exhale. Put your other forearm in front and soften. And when you inhale, notice maybe if your ribs are on your thighs, you might feel a little massage in your organs. And exhale. Hands on the shins. Inhale, go ahead and come halfway up, chest forward. Put your hands on your hips, elbows up, shoulders up. Inhale, come all the way up. So just one note on that, we do end up sitting down, and just a lot of times when we're doing various things, right, in this rounded position where we're compressing in down on our entire organic body through here, right, but that's where all of our digestion happens. So A lot of times just even the idea of lengthening, right, and finding that spaciousness and giving it room to do its job is a really, really beautiful thing and can help with your digestion, right? So go ahead and walk forward to the top of your mat. Standing up at the top of the mat, we'll go right into it. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And exhale, fold. Inhale that chest forward. And then bend your knees and plant your hands, stepping the left leg back. You can come up on the blocks here, or you can stay down on the ground. Why would I come on blocks? If when I'm down here, right, I'm having a hard time and my upper back is rounding, I might give myself a little bit of height so I can find a long spine, right? A neutral upper back. As that left heel pushes back and the right hip moves back, I move my chest forward in opposition, and my low belly hopefully just really starts to lightly pull up towards my spine. Now bring the left knee down without losing anything. Uncurl the toes. And then with an inhale, you're going to reach those arms out and up and start to move your body up into a modified crescent or a low lunge, we could call it. Move yourself back so you can pull those frontal hip points up, buttocks flesh down, right? Keep all of that. And then let your tailbone be what starts to lead everything forward so the pelvis stays neutral. It does not go into what's called an anterior tilt. We keep it out of that. Take one more breath, and then bring the hands down. If you're looking for a little bit of juice, you're going to lengthen and straighten the left leg. You can leave that left knee down. I'm going to show the unknee down version. Is that a word? Left hand is going to come under my left shoulder. That can be on the block if I would like it to be, right? And then from there, we're going to reach that right arm up and out, and we're going to reach it up towards the sky. Now your left hip is really going to want to drop, and that knee is going to want to bend. So see if you can really lengthen the leg, keeping the pelvis pretty neutral, right hip back, and let the twist happen from the kidney band area. And you can see that pretty good on my body right now, right? So I'm trying to see if I can twist from my rib cage, I could say, and maybe turn and look up towards the right fingertips. Push the left heel back, reach the chest forward, shoulder blades down the back, inhale. And exhale, bring the hand down. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath in stillness. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you. And exhale, step it forward, forklift it, push it, whatever you got to do. Right? You may or may not want those blocks right now. I find them useful to find the length of the spinal column. Push the right heel back, move the left hip back and in, and reach the chest forward in opposition. And as you do those three actions, does that not help the belly lightly, right? I don't want to be aggressive with it, just lightly pulling up towards the spine. Now keep that, bring the right knee down and uncurl the toes, and then inhale those arms out and up. Bring the body back enough to find the neutral pelvis, frontal hip points up, buttocks flesh down, right? And then keeping that, maybe that tailbone starts to lead you into your modified crescent. Feeling probably the front of the right hip right now. It's a big old muscle called the psoas. Take an inhale, it gets tight when we sit a lot. Exhale the hands down, right hand on a block or on the ground under the shoulder. I'm going to go with the ground today just to show that variation. And then from there, left hand stays down. Curl the right toes under if you want a little more juice and reach the heel back. You can leave the right knee down on the ground and then reach that left arm up and out today, moving it in slightly different than I often teach. Pull the low belly up and try to scoot it past the left inner thigh, right? Shoulder blades down the back, and as I reach from fingertip to fingertip, hopefully I'm starting to get nice, broad collarbone, rotating my rib cage. The right hip lifts a little bit, right heel back, left hip in, inhale. And exhale, bring that hand down, and you're gonna step forward to the top of your mat. Take your time with that. We're getting into some big muscles. Inhale the chest forward. Exhale and fold. Inhale, hands can come to the hips, so you can reach those arms out and come all the way up to standing. And exhale, let's bring our hands down past our heart today and bring them all the way back down by the side. Pause for a moment and just tune into your abdominals, right? See what's happening in there. Where's the heart? Where's the breath? Slow the breath down. And let's go all the way down to our bellies. Inhale, reaching those arms out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale and lengthen. And then bend your knees and plant your hands. Right foot back, left foot back. Shoulder blades down the back, chest forward. Come forward on the tippy toes. Feel free to bring the knees down. Elbows brush the side, and we come all the way down to the earth. Uncurl the toes, press into the tops of the feet. And as the feet push down and the thighs lift, right? Pull that low belly up a little bit, and then maybe you start to come into this upper back bend called cobra. Shoulder blades down the back. I don't push down, right? But I might pull to the back of my mat lightly and see if my collarbone can get a little broader. And then exhale, come on down. Turn your head to the right. Arms back, palms up, inhale. And exhale. Bring your forehead to the ground. Interlace your hands behind your back or use a strap. Press down to the tops of the feet, including the pinky toes, right? Go ahead and let the thighs lift. Move the tailbone down with your thumbs, but pull your low belly up. And as you reach those knuckles back and straighten the arms, it magically lifts your chest and your head, right? And again, I'm not trying to lift so high as I am trying to lengthen my chest forward and my knuckles and my toes reach back. Now, if it's feeling all right and it's not in my low back, I might lift my toes about an inch, keeping my pinky toe side heavy. Inhale and exhale, come on down. Turn your head to the left, palms up, and take a breath. Inhale and exhale. So now I'm going to try and talk us into bow pose. If that feels like too much, you're going to do what we just did, Shalabhasana, with the other index finger on top. But if it feels okay with your low back, and that's always the determining factor here, right? Bring your forehead to the ground, bending the knees. You're going to try and grab onto the tops of the feet or the ankles if you can. I'm going to show tops of the feet because that's going to be what most of you probably get. Now from there, notice the knees want to go really wide. So before we do anything else, rotate your inner groin up to the ceiling and bring your knees together like you have a block between your knees, right? And then try to flex the feet, even if all you have is the top of your feet. Can your inner heels start to push a little bit into an imaginary wall, right? And then from there, as I kick my shins back, it's going to start to lift my chest and my head. Now I'm going to pull my low belly up like mad and move my tailbone down in order to keep myself nice and neutral. Now you might just stay right here and play with the breath. You're getting a massage every time you inhale and exhale in your organic body because we are prone right now, right? But if it feels okay, you might reach those heels or those toes up a little bit. And I get a little higher, but it's not so much that I'm getting higher as I am moving into my upper back more. Take one more breath, inhale, knees in, and exhale, come on down. You can either turn your head to the right again, or you can stack your hands, forehead to the backs of the hands. Inhale, and exhale. Bring your hands next to your low floating ribs. Press into the tops of the feet, thighs lift, tailbone down, low belly up. Inhale into low cobra. And if you're feeling it, friends, you might start to move into that upward dog. If you're not familiar, it goes into your low back, get out. And then from there, stretch that whole front of the body. Curl those toes under and exhale back into downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. This time we're going to go forward. On an exhale, come up on your tippy toes, bend your knees, look forward, and you can step the feet forward or you can jump your feet forward. Whatever works. Take as many steps as you need, friends. Inhale that chest halfway up. Shoulder blades towards the buttocks. Exhale, folding in. And inhale, reach those arms out to come all the way up. And exhale, let's go through center. Forgot that line. Arms down by the side. And again, slow down your breath if it got rapid. Check into your abdominals and just see, anywhere in your body you can bring awareness, right? But since that's our focus, our healthy digestion, just check in with that abdominal area. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to move into chair pose. We're gonna go through a sun salutation B, it's called. So it incorporates a few different poses. If any of the vinyasas, which are the push-up to the upward dog to the downward dog, feel like too much, you'll just go to downward dog. And I'll tell you all about it, right? This is gonna be our big ba-ba right here, this next section. So bring your feet together until the ball mounds of your big toes touch. Inhale, reach those arms out and up, a little bit of weight in the heels. And then exhale, start to sit into chair pose. We're gonna work this first one, so just know that. Look down. If you cannot see your toes, shift more weight into your heels and move your shins back so you can see, a chunk of your feet anyway, whatever that is for you. Now slide your shoulder blades down the back and reach the chest forward between the hands. You can be higher, you can be lower. I'm not so much concerned about that as long as the weight is in the heels and the low belly is turned down so the low back is long. And push it all the way up. And bring the arms down to center and reach them down by the side. So now we're going to go through the whole series. Inhale, sit into chair as you reach the arms up. And exhale, fold in. A very slow sun salutation B. Inhale, reach the chest forward. And then you're going to bend your knees and plant your hands, stepping the right foot back and the left foot back. Coming to plank. Go to downward dog if you don't want this part. Exhale, come forward. Knees can totally come down as you come through your push-up. I'll show that variation. Inhale, low cobra or upward dog. And we'll all meet in downward dog. Inhale the right leg into the air behind you. And exhale, step it forward between the hands. Now you're going to bring your left heel down until the whole sole of the foot touches. If you need to step it in a little bit to do that, you can. And then from there, inhale, hands on hips or reach the arms out to the side. They're both beautiful. And bring the arms up. Right? Now to work it, we're all going to put our hands on our hips for a second. My left hip would love to move back, but I want it to move forward to the front edge of my mat. So if I need to step my foot in, I do that. But I reach that back heel back, that back inner groin back, and I try to bring my left hip forward. We're going to do a little thing move that's going to help us with that. Reach your left arm out. And without reaching the shoulder out of the socket, right, like this whole thing is connected, start to reach your left hand forward, like you could roll that left hip further forward, maybe bend the right knee a little bit, and then reach the left arm up, and then inhale and reach the right arm up. Really plant that back heel down, pull the frontal hip point up, inhale, and exhale, bringing the hand down, stepping back to downward dog. If you shorten that stance, lengthen it up, not downward dog, sorry, plank. You can go to downward dog or child's pose. Come forward, knees can totally come down through your push-up. You can come to the ground or hover. Inhale, low cobra or upward dog. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you. And exhale, float it forward between the hands. And then step that right heel down. Right, the whole sole of the foot. So if you need to step forward to do that, you do. Hands can come onto the hips, or you can extend the arms out and bring it all the way up. And then we're all going to bring our hands onto our hips to work this for a moment. So really reach that right inner heel back behind you, right thigh back, right hip forward. We're trying to get the right hip parallel, towards parallel to the front edge of the mat. Reach that right arm forward, and again, don't slide the shoulder out of the socket, but reach the hand forward, and does that help that whole right hip and that side move forward. And then from there, inhale the right arm up, and inhale the left arm up. And then breathe when you get there. Don't forget how much the breath can help you. Inhale, and exhale, bringing the hands down. It'll be the last vinyasa of class. Go to downward dog if you're not feeling it. Come forward on your exhale down. Inhale and do an upward dog. Exhale back into your downward facing dog. Remember to breathe. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump forward or step forward again. So take an inhale. And on your exhale, come up on your tippy toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump to the top of your mat. Bring your toes together. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sit into chair pose. And exhale, push the inner heels down, coming on up. Bring those hands together, past the chest, reaching the arms down to the side. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn and face you this way for the last big foray here, our piece of power. We're going to go into chair pose and we're going to twist from chair pose, and it's one of the most potent twists I know of. So, standing up nice and tall, ball mounds of the toes are touching. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. And then exhale, start to sit down into your chair pose. You're gonna go ahead and exhale the hands to the heart. And then bring your right hand to your right hip, I'll mirror. And bring that left elbow outside the right knee and kind of move that belly around and try to hook that elbow as deeply as you can. And then the palms are gonna come together again. Elbows are wide. Now look down at the knees and notice how the left knee wants to move forward. Move the left hip back a little bit, but reach the chest forward away from that so you lengthen your spine. And then go ahead and push the palms together to broaden the collarbone and push the elbow into the knee to see if you can get a little more rib rotation. Take one more breath here, inhale. Put a little more weight in the heels if it's not already. Exhale, fold in. Pause, you can leave the knees bent, inhale. And exhale. Next side, inhale, reach those arms out and up as the buttocks sits down, weight in the heels. Bring the hands together at the heart, left hand, left hip. Bring the right elbow outside. Again, I like to move around a little bit to try to get my belly over my thigh. And then bring your palms together. You can always use your hand to manipulate the abdomen, by the way. Look down and move the right knee back, the right hip back if it's jutting. As the right hip moves back, reach the chest forward away from that. And then exhale, move the elbow and the knee together and push those palms together for a broad collarbone and a rib rotation. Take one more breath, inhale. And exhale, soften in. Take a breath, inhale. And exhale. Now we're gonna come all the way down to our buttocks, so you can come through chair pose if you want a little bit more core today, or you can just sit down and we'll meet you right there. Move the buttocks to the middle of the mat. And we're gonna move into a twist now. So you can always sit on a blanket or two to give yourself a little bit of height to help that pelvis find its line, right? Or the blocks, since you probably have the blocks nearby. But you can hit pause and come back. It won't kill you. I don't think it will. Geez, I hope not. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna step our right foot over and plant the sole down next to that thigh. Now this is option number one. Option number two is that you bend that, right? I leaned over to the left to bend my left heel towards my right hip. Am I saying that correctly? My mind is still coming back. It's a little dull these days from all I ate and not sleeping properly. So sink the buttocks bones down, put a blanket underneath your buttocks if the right buttocks can't make it to the earth, or extend the leg back out to straight. I'm borderline, but I'm getting it, so I'm gonna keep it, right? And then from there, you're gonna bring your right fingertips back. Inhale, lengthen the left side body. Begin the twist here with the side waist, and then you can either hug with the elbow or hook the elbow on. I'm gonna go with the hug. The other one's a little too extreme for me today. And as I lengthen and get tall, right, shoulder blades on the back, I'm gonna pull lightly with my left arm, push lightly with my right fingertips, and don't let that upper back round behind you. Make sure you keep that pulled in and up, and the head turning as far as it comfortably can without cranking. Continue to plant down into the ball mound of that left toe. Inhale. And exhale, maybe a little deeper in. Turn the body forward. Lean to the left to straighten the bottom leg if you were in that position. And reach the right leg out. Left foot on the outside of the right thigh. Option one. Leaning to the right, swinging that right heel towards the left hip. Either sitting on something or leaving the leg extended if the left buttocks doesn't make it down. Bring your left fingertips behind you. Inhale, reach the right arm up and lengthen all the way through that spine, right? And then when you start to twist, do it from the side body first, and then bring that other arm into play. Again, you might hook it, you might just hug with the elbow or the forearm, whatever works best in your body. If I hook, I tend to lean back and it just feels really extreme to my body, and I did that for a lot of years and hurt my SI joint because of it, so I don't tend to hook anymore. Take an inhale, my elbow on my arm. I am not talking about that, people. And with an exhale, begin to turn a little deeper in. Shoulder blades down the back. Find the breath. Head turns as far as it comfortably can. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, deepening, softening, or whatever works for you. And turn forward. I'm going to lean to the right to extend my right leg out, and then unfold my left. Let's do one more thing here from seated, and then we'll lie back onto our backs. So Paschimottanasana, or west facing forward fold, or intense forward fold, right? So I flex my feet and I pretend there's a wall in front of me, pushing through my inner heels and the ball mounds of my big toes just as much as the pinky edge, which usually pushes more for most of us. I sit upon something if my spine rounds behind me, shoulder blades down the back, and I get really, 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 really tall. Inhale, reach those arms up. You should be able to maintain the core. And then exhale, folding in. Right about here, I can tell that my pelvis doesn't want to join me, so I pause. I bring my arms down. I'm going to pull against my legs to reach my chest forward, buttocks, bones back, and then go ahead and start to fold in. Now, I might grab my toes, but I should never pull my shoulders out of my sockets to try to get a hold of them, right? I only get them if I can keep my shoulders in the sockets, if I can keep my long spine. And wherever I'm working from, I have the same work, right? The same work. I'm pulling a little bit, my elbows wide, shoulder blades down the back, pulling my chest beyond my toes, and then softening in. If you have herniated discs, bulging discs, anything like that, you can still do this fold, just don't round the spinal column. If it hurts your low back, don't round the spinal column, just stay straight. And I'm going to work from there today. My low back does have some sensitivity, and this feels better for it. Go ahead and take one more breath, inhale. So we got to listen to our satya, our inner truth, right? Inhale, reach the chest forward. If we really want to heal our bodies and be whole and holistic, you gotta listen to what your body tells you, even if you want it to be a different way. That's your ego, right? I know all about it. I got one, and it talks to me a lot louder than my truth sometimes. Feet on the ground, shoulder blades down the back. We're going to go ahead and just start to come on down to our backs, trying to control that as best we can. And let's go ahead and just bring those knees in one more time, interlacing around the shins, grabbing the shins, going behind the thighs, whatever feels right. Maybe rocking a little bit from right to left. Keep that right knee in, let the left foot come down to the ground. And one more time, hug it in. And then interlacing behind the thigh, push the heel up. And we're going to get the IT band, again, for the travel section, or the travel people. What am I saying? For those of us who traveled, let's get our IT band just a little bit. Although everybody can usually use this stretch. You're going to take your right thumb, into the right hip crease. Push it forward and hold it down. Left hand can support the inner right thigh. Let that leg come across the body just about 3 to 5 inches. Don't go too far. Push the inner heel up and away. Pull the pinky toe edge all the way back down to the outer hip. And if you're not feeling this, go ahead and you can grab onto that thigh, and instead of going further to the left, you're going to pull your toes to the back of the room as your right hand pushes the right hip forward. And you should be feeling this somewhere in the outer thigh or maybe the back of the knee. Inhale and exhale there. Go ahead and bring it back to neutral. Bend the knee and place the foot on the ground. Inhale the left leg in and give it a little squeeze initially. Interlace behind the thigh, push the heel up to the sky. And that IT band stretch. We're going to take our left thumb inside the hip crease. Push it forward and hold it down. Right hand can support inner left thigh. Come across about 3 to 5 inches. Pardon me. And again, pushing the heel away, pulling the pinky toe edge back. If I'm still not really feeling much, and be careful how sensational you are. You don't want to always have to have huge sensation in the body, right? You might push the hip forward and pull the leg back a little bit. And take a breath. We want to go to just the beginning of the stretch, where the body is receptive and can soften. If we go so far in that the body never softens to it and just gets really rigid, are we really benefiting very much? Come back to neutral, bring the left foot down to the ground, and let's do one more move before we go into Shavasana. And it's going to be one last twist, right? It's all about the twist today to try and get into those organs, the GI tract.
You're going to put your feet on the ground, lift the hips up a little bit, and just slide them slightly to the left. Don't go too far with that. Lengthen the right leg out and stand the left foot on the right thigh. Tee the arms out, inhale. Exhale, roll onto the right side body and let that come across. Right hand can come onto the left thigh, only if it feels nice. Head might turn to the left if it feels all right. And then go ahead and just take a breath here. So this is definitely still twisting into the organic body, but also I'm hoping that I'm getting you into your kind of mid-back area, which, you know, can get tight when you travel. Take one more breath, inhale. And exhaling there. And rolling onto your back body again. Putting the feet on the ground, going past the center over to the right. Lengthening the left leg, right foot on the left thigh. Tee the right arm out, inhale. Exhale, roll onto your left side body. Two options. Left hand might come onto the outer left thigh, right thigh. You might turn your head to the right. And then breathe. Right? Find that breath. You can close your eyes at this point. There's not much to see. Plenty to feel. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and roll onto your back body again. And bring those hips back into the middle of the mat. Readjust your spine if you need to. Your shoulder blades down the back. All of that stuff. Arms out 45, palms up. Same options for the legs as the beginning of class. You can either walk the feet a little wide, toes straight forward, knees lean in, or you can extend the legs all the way out. And it might feel different in the low backs and hamstrings than it did at the beginning of class. With the eyes closed, we scan through our body, find out if there's any tension. Try to release it if you notice that there is. And then we're going to be here for a couple of minutes, right? A few minutes. So once you've scanned the body and you've released all of your physical tension, go ahead and just bring your awareness to your breath. Now you don't have to manipulate the breath. You don't have to try to make the breath do something, right? You're just using it as an anchor point for the mind. And if you're like the majority of human beings, your mind is going to wander off quite a few times. Every time it wanders off, just realize that it did. Don't get mad or pissed or disappointed or any of these things. It's okay. It's fine. But do take a moment to take it away from the thought, right, and bring it back to the breath. I like a very simple technique of saying inhale when I inhale and exhale when I exhale. Bring the mind back to the breath if it wandered off. This time, as you bring your awareness back to your breath, maybe begin to deepen the breath. And if you want to wiggle fingers or toes, or even stretch the arms overhead. Sometimes I like to point and flex my feet a little bit, or twirl the ankles, etc. Whatever feels nice. Bend the knees. Roll to your right. Left hand gently pushes the floor away. Come back up to seated. You can sit up on those blocks or not. Normally, I almost always do nowadays, just for my poor little pelvis and my hips. I give them that extra little help. Just noticing the body. And again, since it was healthy digestion day today, elimination, maybe just bringing your awareness there one more time, letting the body know you're trying to assist it all you can. Bring your palms together at your heart. Inhale. Exhale, bow your head towards your heart. And just take a moment of gratitude for at least one thing. And namaste, friends. And if I may finish with one more piece of advice, there are two different ways that you can drink water. There's hydration. Please do that all the time. It's sipping water slowly throughout the day. You know, if you're just chugging a bunch of water at, once or 3 times a day, your body can't utilize all that water, and so you don't really hydrate the body, right? The body will do what's called flushing, and that's what I'm going to suggest that you do. Drink a lot of water and help flush the body out, right? It'll take some of those toxins out. It'll get enough water in there so that your poo stays moist enough to move through the system if you are constipated, those kinds of things. So definitely still hydrate. Drink a little bit throughout every day, all day, right? But today, particularly after taking this class, I would suggest drinking a decent amount of water and trying to flush your body out. Have a good day, and I hope you have a good poop.